So this is India's grand strategy to be the Sone ki Chidiya again. And as we navigate through the murky waters of geopolitics, another big development is happening. Our Coast Guard intercepted and seized three massive shadow tankers. By seizing them, India didn't just stop a shipment. We physically cut the link between two giants and the reward was instant. Today, let's talk about why the Indian Coast Guard seizing a shadow fleet tanker is as important as AI threatening to take over the entire IT. Right now, the threat of full-scale US-Iran war is at its highest point in decades. So we are going to explore how India proved to the US yet again that its tame China policy has to run through New Delhi. And we will see how prodding Russia and Iran into a corner is part of this master plan. We'll explore China's plus one policy and finally how this sweet spot is about to change your bank balance and your future. Washington has moved a second carrier strike group into the region and the ultimatum is clear. Sign a total nuclear and missile ban or face the consequences. In this chaos, India has emerged as the only power that can actually walk into both rooms in the US and Iran. So India is presenting Iran with three possible scenarios and the choice they will make will define our region for the next decade. Scenario 1. India tells Iran, if you don't compromise with Washington, we will not only stop buying your oil, we will continue to seize every shadow tanker that tries to bypass the rules. It's a harsh reality check that tells Tehran their old shadow trade with China is over. Scenario 2. Iran realizes it's cornered and turns to New Delhi. Basically, Iran agrees to the US peace demands, but only if India acts as the guarantor. We wouldn't just be a trade partner, we'll be one keeping peace between West and the Islamic Republic, which is a very advantageous position for us. And the worst scenario, scenario 3, Iran refuses to budge and India continues the crackdown. The relationship would turn toxic. Iran could activate its proxy to target Indian interests or shipping. But by looking them in the eye and seizing those tankers, India has signaled that it is no longer afraid of the fallout. By thrusting ourselves into this conflict, India is telling the world peace in the Middle East now runs through New Delhi. But there is a clever part. India isn't just following Washington's rules. By seizing those tankers, India proved to the West that it is a trusted partner. This isn't just about the diplomacy, it's about a 500 billion trade goal. Now let's talk about Russia. You might think seizing tankers makes Putin angry, but India is playing a much deeper game. India is actually prodding Russia to find a way out of the war in Ukraine. Why? Because the longer that war goes on, the more Russia has to lean on China for support. And we are saying to Moscow, we want to build the INSTC, the International North-South Transport Corridor. We want to connect Mumbai to St. Petersburg via Iran. But we can't do it while you are bogged down in Europe. We have a big market in Europe to explore. So having this corridor is going to be extremely beneficial and a strategic pivot for India. It looks like India is positioning itself as a leader of a new Middle Eurasian bloc. This bloc would include India, Russia, and a stabilized Iran. This creates a massive trade zone that China doesn't control and the US doesn't sanction. By prodding Russia towards peace, India is trying to protect its own future as a continental leader. So let's look at the real gamble. If India just wanted to please the US, we could have stopped these tankers months ago. Why wait until now? Because India used this action as a tactical stick to lock in our trade deal. We showed Washington that we are the only power that can physically control the traffic in Indian Ocean. While this move carries a massive hidden risk, we still chose to do it. Let's see why. The biggest danger to India is Russia and Iran becoming totally dependent on Beijing. If they have no other option, China will treat them like satellite nations, controlling their energy and their land. By cleaning these energy routes, India is strategizing to pull them out of China's pockets and making them our partners instead. Right now, China's factories have unfair lead because they buy shadow oil at 30% discount. By forcing these countries to trade normally, India is raising China's costs. If Iran sells at market price to everyone, China loses its secret fuel subsidy. Suddenly, the China price disappears and Indian products become the world's first choice. And the last one that we know is that China controls the minerals that we need. And by becoming the security guard for the West, India is getting the investments needed for our own sources. We are betting that by the time China tries to choke our supply, our independent supply chains will already be running. India is building a third way. We are not just a market, we are the power center that decides how the world trades. We are aiming to move from being a participant to being the architect. So, do you think India's high stakes gamble to pull Russia and Iran away from China's control is the right move for 2047, or are we playing with fire? Drop your thoughts in the comment. If you want to see how India is using this new leverage to win the global semiconductor race next, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening. And I will see you in the next one. If you like this content, you might want to hit that button. It's called subscribe. Bye bye.